Good evening, friends. Today, let us begin with the teaching aptitude concept. In this portion, here the first unit is teaching aptitude. Here, let us begin with the concept of teaching. You know what is the teaching? What is its importance? Why we need teaching in our future generation? Here, friends, here teaching is a complex process that brings a socially desirable behavioral change in a person. What here? Teaching is a complex process that brings a socially desirable behavioral change in a person. If you observe here, in a student, that is the teaching, it can change some of the behavioral changes. Okay. So next, in traditional concept, teaching is the act of imparting instructions to the learners in the classroom situation. Here it gives some of the instruction to the learners how here the situation that will arise in the classrooms. Okay. So next, modern concept teaching is to cause the pupil to learn and acquire the desired knowledge, skills, and also desirable ways of living in society. Here what happens? Here the teaching, it will learn some knowledge and it will give some of the desirable ways of living in the society in the pupils. Next, it is a process in which learner, teacher, curriculum, and other variables are organized in a systematic and psychological way to attain some predetermined goals. Here, it is a process in which learner, teacher, a curriculum, and other variables, so many in here in systematic and in psychological way to attain some predetermined goals. They can determine here their goals. Okay. So next, teaching is a part of the teaching learning process. Here you know, students, here teaching is a part of the teaching learning process. Nothing here, no teaching and no learning, you know. So here that's why without teaching we can't learn anything. So that here this point is very important. So next, it is required to bring specific changes in a person according to the need of his society and environment in which he is living. You know, here it will bring some of the specific changes in a person according to the need of his society, what he needs in the society, what he want to change some of their behavioral changes in the society, and what he is living condition in the environment. These are all takes place. So next, teaching is not an act as it is in dynamic in nature, dynamic in nature. So it is termed as a process. You know, it is termed as a process. Next, it is also not a fundamental concept as it is greatly influenced by social and human factors. You know, it is not a fundamental concept, it is greatly influenced by the social and the human factors. So here some expert use about concept of teaching. So here they are given some of the important definitions. So in below here that is there are three important scientists. Ryburn's view, what he tells about teaching. Teaching is a relationship which keeps the child to develop all his powers. Here, with the help of teaching, here the child he will develop all the activities of the powers capability. Then what Burton's view tells here, teaching is the stimulation, guidance, direction, and encouragement of learning. Okay, with the help of teaching, it is what it will give some the direction, and here it will, in case of learning, what takes place, encouragement. So what Smith's view tells, in words of B.O. Smith, teaching is a system of actions intended to produce learning. Okay, here what happens? Here the B.O. Smith, he will tells about the definition of teaching. Here teaching is a system of actions intended to produce learning. Next, objectives of teaching. Okay, so what are the objectives of teaching? So here major objectives of teaching are as follows. So what are the major objectives of teaching here? So here, to bring desired changes in pupils. Okay, what happens, some of the desired changes in pupils? So next, to shape behavior and conduct. To shape behavior and conduct. Okay, to shape behavior and conduct. Next, acquisition of knowledge with the help of teaching. Here, acquisition of knowledge also takes place to improve the learning skills of students. Here, what happens? Improvement happens. Okay, in case of students, some of the learning skills will develop. Next, formation of belief. Okay, formation of what happens? Belief takes place. Next, last point, in the case of objectives of teaching, that is to provide a social and efficient member of society. Okay, to provide a social and efficient member of society. So these are the very very important objectives of teaching. So the next portion is here, nature and characteristics of teaching. So here, nature of teaching may be described as dynamic, okay, social and humane. Okay, here the teaching is not a fundamental concept. Why? Why teaching is not a fundamental concept? Because it is greatly influenced by social and human factors that are dynamic in themselves. That are dynamic in themselves. So here, that what happens? Teaching. Teaching is a both art and science. It is a both art and science. Students, here teaching is both art and science. Teaching is both art and science. It calls for the exercise of talent. It calls for the exercise of talent and creativity, making it an art and involving repertory of techniques. Repertoire of techniques. Repertoire of techniques. What techniques? That is involving some of the creativity, that is some of the procedures are also follows, and skills that can studied systematically, that is that can be studied systematically. Okay, described and improved, making it science. You know, teaching is art and science. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ನಾವು ಏನು ಕಲಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇದೊಂದು ಕಲೆ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಭಾಗವಾಗಿರಬಹುದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬೋಧನೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಶಬ್ದ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಒಂದು ತಂತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನದ ಮೂಲಕ ನಾವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಲಿತೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇವೆರಡು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು 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 ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, here diverse in application. In application, teaching is of diverse nature. Okay, it is diverse nature. It may have various forms as formal, informal, directional, instructional, formational, training, conditioning, indoctrination, talking, showing, doing, remedial, etc. Okay, what happens here? The here the diverse in application, it will shows here, you see here, that you see here the directional. Okay, formal teaching, know your informal teaching. Formal, that takes place in classroom. Informal in our families. Okay, informal, that is, that is here. And next is the instructional. Okay, what we give the instructions, training. Okay, so these are all etc. So the so many things will come. That is in case of divergent application. So next, so some of the important characteristics of teaching. Important characteristics of teaching may be described as system of actions. So here, with the help of actions, so many here, pupil behavior, that some of the physical and social conditionings, all of the related concept here, they will take some of the actions in case of the teaching. Next, in case of the professional activity, in case of that is in case of professional activity, here that is some of the development of the personality in case of students, and what are the important objects towards the concentrating they are in case of the classes. Okay, so these are all the professional activity of the students. And here the teacher, what he is doing some activities, so towards activities the students, they want to focus on that concept. Next is subjected to analysis and assessment. So here, teaching can be analyzed and assessed, and analysis and assessment to provide feedback for further improvement. What here teaching? What is the important feedback here? So what here the teacher, he or she will teach us. Okay, and what are the some of the important what you need the important feedback you want to give on them. Okay, you want to give what the teachers he will taught in the classroom. Okay, that's why here that is the assessment is very important. Next, interactive process. Okay, here teaching is highly dominated by communication skills. Okay, without communication, without proper communication, no, the next teaching will not happen. Okay, that's why here the teaching is highly dominated by communication skills. Teaching is an interactive process carried with purpose and objectives. Yes, why not? Here, interactive process. What happens between the teacher and the student? Here, interactive process between the student and the teacher, it is very important. When the teacher, he will teach us in the classroom, the students, he want to when he want to be attention in the classroom, he want to interact with the teacher, what he has telling in the classroom, what he has teaching in the classroom. That's why it is very important here, the interactive process is very important in the teaching. Next is specialized task. Okay, here some of the certain objectives skills they want to set. Okay, that's why here they want here it is here it is one of the important specialized task is here. Okay, next, collection of various modes. Collection of various modes. So here teaching is one of the collection of various modes of itself. That is one of the give here conditioning, training, okay, instruction, indoctrination denote some of the kind of teaching. Okay, so part of teaching, but not a synonym with the teaching. But these are the various modes of teaching contributing to the very important concept of the teaching. So collection of various modes of teaching also one of the very important characters of the teaching. So next is aim of teaching. So what is here the aim of teaching? So what are the aims? ಏನಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಗುರಿಗಳೇನಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬೋಧನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿರುವ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಗುರಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಗುರಿಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಈ ಒಂದು ಬೋಧನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಮುಖ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಏಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಮೋಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆಸ್ ಫಾಲೋಸ್. ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. To bring changes in the behavior of students. Next, conditioning to improve the learning skills of students. Conditioning to improve the learning skills of students. Next, training, shaping behavior and conduct. Shaping behavior and conduct. Okay, next, instruction, acquisition of knowledge. Next, indoctrination, formation of belief. So these are the very important aims of the teaching. Okay, students. Okay, so this much enough on today's class. In tomorrow's class, let us we go for levels of teaching. Thank you.